Voltaire was born Franche-Henri Arret in Paris into a bourgeois family. He studied law, but soon turned to writing, embracing wit and reason. Early satirical works led to imprisonment in the Bastille. Exile in England exposed him to constitutional monarchy and scientific progress, shaping his Enlightenment ideals. He became the embodiment of an Enlightenment philosopher, caustic, witty, and relentless. Voltaire wrote plays, historical works, philosophical tales, corresponded with monarchs, and fought for freedom of thought. Crush the infamous thing, he declared in his fight against fanaticism. His pen inspired fear in the powerful and love among freethinkers. He died surrounded by admirers, though the church refused him a funeral. Christina of Denmark was born into the powerful house of Oldenburg. As a niece of Emperor Charles V, she was a valuable political pawn from childhood. Widowed young after her marriage to the Duke of Milan, she soon became one of the most sought-after brides in Europe. Even Henry VIII considered her as a potential wife. Yet Christina became known not as someone's wife, but as a smart and independent political figure. She rejected Henry VIII's proposal, saying, "If I had two heads, I might consider marrying him," thus escaping the fate of his other wives. Later, she governed the Duchy of Lorraine on behalf of her son, showing firmness and diplomacy. Christina was respected for her wit, foresight, and pan-European vision. She remained true to herself in an age when women rarely could. Francis I of the Two Sicilies was born in Naples as the son of Ferdinand I and Maria Carolina of Austria. Raised during turbulent revolutionary times, he witnessed the collapse and restoration of monarchies. As crown prince, he often stood in the shadow of his powerful parents, especially his mother, the daughter of Maria Theresa. As king, Francis I followed a cautious policy of absolutism, partly from personal indecisiveness and partly to preserve stability. He surrounded himself with courtiers and favorites, showing more interest in theater and hunting than in reforms. His reign was called uneventful, yet it offered respite after the storms of the Napoleonic era. To be a king means knowing how not to get in the way of the storm, people said of his rule. Though not a towering figure, Francis ensured dynastic continuity and laid the groundwork for change. Elizabeth of York was born into the royal house of York as the eldest daughter of Edward IV. Her early life was shaped by the Wars of the Roses and shifting fortunes. She later married Henry VII, uniting the warring houses of York and Lancaster, and becoming the first Tudor queen. Elizabeth became a symbol of reconciliation after decades of civil strife. Her marriage to Henry VII strengthened the legitimacy of the new dynasty, and the birth of heirs secured her position. The crown on her head was lighter than the burden she bore in her heart. Despite her modesty, she played a vital role in stabilizing the court and sustaining peace. Historians praise her piety, her deep affection for her children, and her rare sense of dignity. Her death in childbirth was mourned across the nation. Londoners wept for the good queen who had brought calm after the storm. Johann Joseph Fux was born in Styria, in a modest peasant family. Early talent and church patronage led him to study music in Graz and Ingolstadt. He later moved to Vienna, where his mastery of counterpoint brought him rapid success and access to the imperial court. Fux became court Kapellmeister under Emperor Leopold I and later served Joseph I and Charles VI. His treatise Gradus et Parnassum became the foundational textbook of counterpoint. To learn to compose music is to learn from Fux, said Haydn. He seldom wrote operas, but Fux's sacred works are still performed in Europe's cathedrals today. Margaret of Austria was born into the powerful Habsburg dynasty as the daughter of Charles II of Austria and Maria Anna of Bavaria. Raised in a deeply Catholic court, she was prepared from childhood for dynastic marriage. At the age of 15, she became Queen of Spain by marrying Philip III, uniting two branches of the Habsburg family. At the Spanish court, Margaret quickly gained influence, becoming one of the few queens to intervene in politics. She supported the expulsion of the Moriscos, patronized the arts, and led a strict courtly life. "I am a queen, but above all a Christian," she said. Constant pregnancies weakened her health. Margaret died at 27, leaving behind an heir, the future King Philip IV. Louis Ferdinand of France was the eldest son of Louis XV and Marie Lescaut. Raised at Versailles, he was prepared to inherit the throne, receiving a traditional royal education focused on religion and statecraft. A quiet and devout prince, he often seemed overshadowed by the grandeur of his courtly surroundings. Despite being heir to the throne, Louis Ferdinand showed little interest in active politics. Deeply religious and aligned with the Jesuits, his conservative ideals concerned Enlightenment thinkers. Some believed his reign would have changed the course of French history, from his father's softness to stern orthodoxy. He was the prince feared by his age, yet unknown to fate. His early death from tuberculosis left the crown to his son, the future Louis XVI. Eugénie of Leuchtenberg was born into a Franco-German noble family as the daughter of Eugénie de Beauharnais and Princess Augusta of Bavaria. Raised between Munich and Milan, she received a refined education and early on was surrounded by both imperial legacy and Bavarian culture. Her marriage to Duke Constantine of Oldenburg brought her to the Russian court. In Russia, Eugénie was known as Evgenia Maximilianovna. She supported scholarly societies, engaged in charity work, and corresponded with cultural figures. She was regarded as one of the most educated women in her circle. In exile, "The mind feeds on knowledge as the heart feeds on memory," she wrote in one of her letters. She died young, leaving a delicate trace in courtly history.